Welcome to Dominate Real Estate Podcast, the $1 Million Blueprint where luxury meets expertise in the world of high-end real estate. Hosted by Taliya Bashani, top real estate attorney, and Carina Tom, president of New World Connect Title. Stay tuned as we dive deep in the minds of top producing luxury real estate agents, uncovering the strategies, insights, and secrets that have helped them make millions. Get ready to level up your real estate game as we guide you through the latest market trends and the stories behind the most exclusive deals in the industry. This is the place where sophistication and success dominate. And now, recording live from the Hard Rock Hotel in New York City, here are your hosts, Taliya and Carina.
Welcome to Dominate Real Estate Podcast, the podcast where real estate's top performers spill the secrets of their success. Recording live from the Hard Rock Hotel in New York City, I'm Taliya Bashani.
And I'm Carina Tom, and together we bring you the strategies, mindset, and moments that took the industry's most successful agents from open houses to powerhouse closings.
Whether you're an aspiring agent, a seasoned pro, or just looking to level up your real estate game, you're in the right place.
It's time to dominate real estate.
Hello,
Hi.
We have Morgan Higgins with Brown Harris Stevens. Thank you so much for joining us today and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yes.
So Morgan, it's really an honor to have you here.
Thank
I heard
you.
such amazing things. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule
Of
to
course.
be here with us today. But you know what? Just coming out the gate, just tell us about your journey in real estate, what brought you into real estate.
Yeah, of course. So it was mid-pandemic, and I at the time was working for a tech company, and I was work from home, and I was like, I can't sit at my desk anymore 9 to 5 and stare out the window while the world, it wasn't going by without me, but while, you know, I'm inside, and I don't know, it was depressing. We were all so isolated, and at that point we weren't all still masking up, but the world hadn't really like fully come back, and I called my parents and I said, I really just have to get out of my apartment. So what should I do? And they had kind of been trying to tell me for years that I should get my real estate license because they are real estate investors, and so that was kind of always something that had been floating in the background, and I was always like, no, but since I was working from home and I kind of had some flexibility, I was like, I'll just get my license, I'll do it, it'll be a side thing. And so I started, and I loved it. I honestly fell in love with it in a way that I didn't think I would, and I'm still doing it, and yeah.
Yeah, so it was in the bloodline.
It was in the bloodline. It was.
Your parents like,
fate.
get into
It was fate.
Exactly.
It was meant to be, you know.
I love that.
So coming from a family of investors, you must have really been exposed to, you know, different real estate investment opportunities.
Yes.
So tell us how you help navigate the real estate industry by representing investors and where you see your career heading.
Yeah, so I mean, I want to get more involved with investors for sure, and I think the biggest thing is always looking for the path of growth, like not buying in areas that I've already appreciated and buying in areas that, you know, may have been hot but now aren't hot and coming back on the upswing. I always say, like, you know, in Manhattan, like the Upper East Side is one of those pockets, especially east of 3rd Ave. I think there's just, especially with the Q and that going, you know, more north, that's like a great area. You get a lot of value for your money and space.
Right.
You know, FIDI is back on the upswing, which is also great. And in the outer, not outer boroughs, but, you know, Ridgewood is great. I actually was just out there with someone looking at a property that like went over ask, and it would have been a great buy. We did not get it, but I think it's always like looking for places in the path of growth, and of course looking for those deals that also allow you to like sublet or use them in that way, even if it's a co-op, which some do.
Sure.
So yeah,
having that insight is really key and so important because those little pockets that are up and coming, like even different parts, like I heard Canarsie, you know, even you know, Crown Heights.
Right,
like
I love Crown Heights.
Yeah, it's
great.
Really developing.
Yeah, and Stuyvesant Heights also is on the up and up. There's a lot of like bars and restaurants popping out there, and I always look for that too. Like, where are new Manhattan restaurants kind of doing little outposts, because I think that's kind of a great indicator of the area that's building.
You know what's impressing me so much right now, that you are not originally from New York and you get that lingo down pat.
I love this city, and I think that I've always felt like a New Yorker. My mom actually, before she started doing real estate, she worked on Wall Street. So she was always like, New York, New York, New York, when I was like a very little kid. And so I think I've always felt this connection to the city.
Well, welcome.
And
thank you.
We like you here.
I love it here.
Miss Metropolitan girl.
Yes.
So New York, as we know, is such, I always say that real estate is probably the biggest ROI that you're going to see on your investment.
Yes.
So it's such an international melting pot and hub here for a lot of, business owners and just a lot of international clients and investors overall. So, one of the things that I really promote with my law practice is 1031 exchanges. I speak about it all the time. And what I love about it for you as agents, first of all, is that you get to double your commission on the purchase and on the sale, because you have to sell to buy, right? That's the whole structure of a 1031, and it really allows investors to defer their capital gains tax. So somebody like you that comes in and says, look, I am your go-to investor agent, I can find you those hot pockets, multifamilies, rental income producing properties. I think that's a really great way to brand yourself and to really expand your book of business. So tell us, being on a team, we should say, how are you able to navigate real estate and join forces with the people on your team?
So in terms of delegation, I think real estate's like a kind of day by day. Some days it's like, I really need your help covering this, or like I have to go do this podcast. Can you cover this section? Showing right now. I'm sorry, I can't be in two places at once. So again, it's really about like the using your teammates in terms of helping covering or that's it, most of it. Or even if you're going out and like shooting social content, like delegating those responsibilities as well. We're trying to kind of like build up our social brand and our team, because it's just so important nowadays. And so like it's just about like being collaborative in all aspects on the team.
I love that. And you know what? That's something that us as entrepreneurs, business, we have to learn very early on. When we're running a business, we have to learn how to delegate, especially being a part of a great team helps as well, where you guys can all collaborate together and help each other out. That's so. Yeah, I love that, and I love that you learned that so early on.
Yeah,
like, I just got to delegate instead of just taking it all on yourself.
It was a learning process, because I'm the kind of person that does want to do it all, and I don't want to I don't always want to let other people do stuff. But I just think I've learned over time that you are more efficient when you work with the people around you.
Sure. Absolutely.
And why are you on a team? System. Like, why else are you on a team, right?
Yes. You'll go further faster.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So with your technology background, which, a lot of people transition.
Yeah,
we know you're an actress. You have, you're multifaceted in many different ways. Lots of talents.
Yes.
But that really gives you an edge, I think, because where the market is heading as far as AI, digital marketing, social media, you having that extra leg up in the technology world, I'm sure really, helps you.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. The tech company I worked for, we were trying to do like B2B SaaS, basically.
Okay,
and we were trying to revolutionize raw materials, if you know what I mean when I say that. So we were trying to basically globalize lumber, metal, glass, but we were trying to create basically a digital platform and put it all online, because those industries kind of operate pen and paper. They're very
old school.
They're generational businesses, and you have to pick up the phone, you have to know people. So the idea was to kind of connect people much faster. So that was the tech aspect.
With,
yes,
the providers with the.
Yeah, we were kind of trying to broker the deal, but in a more streamlined fashion.
Cool.
That was very different, and truthfully, I just fell into it.
Yeah.
But it taught me a lot, because I think I watched a lot of people in those businesses be afraid of the tech, and I think it's so easy to be afraid of it, but like unfortunately or fortunately, we are already so integrated into tech. I mean, like we are. My phone like tracks me everywhere I go. You know, it's like, you know, I walk by something and it'll be like, oh, I'll get an ad for it 5 minutes later. So it's kind of an unavoidable thing. And I think like in terms of embracing tech, like it's something that has to be done. I think AI like it has its positives and negatives, but I the one thing I don't think AI can replace is the human aspect of it. And so like for industries like this, or even like as an actor, like that's not necessarily something I'm like concerned about, because in these businesses I think it can actually only help right now.
It could enhance.
It enhances, yeah.
But the human connection, nothing's ever going to be that.
No, they're not going to be able to like understand nuances of you know, human speech patterns and like human nature and that kind of thing. No matter, I don't think no matter how advanced it gets. So,
so tell us about the acting, the actress. Yes.
So I am an actor. That's what I went to school for. I went to NYU Tisch. I graduated. I mean, I graduated into the pandemic. I know I'm aging myself, so maybe cut that. But I ended up right when I kind of started doing real estate, I actually ended up getting my first Broadway role. So I was in a musical. It was called Bad Cinderella. It was a twist on Cinderella. Andrew Lloyd Webber, who wrote Phantom of the Opera, Evita, etc., was the composer. So we got to work with him, and I played one of the stepsisters. So that was like I was an evil stepsister. I was sassy.
I don't believe it.
My name was Marie. She was very silly, and I got to wear this really cute blonde bob. Like, it was a complete transformation. I will never forget it. When I put the wig on, it was one of those like moments where I'm like, wow, I'm a really different person. This haircut is so fierce.
So fierce.
But yeah, so that was that, and I mean, I've been acting mostly my whole life. I grew up in California, and so I would like drive to LA and audition. And what's interesting is I feel like real estate and acting are so similar. I mean, you see the pipeline all the time. There's so many people that have been actors that are now like very successful agents.
Yeah, even Ryan was
right.
Of
course. And I think it's because you're just so used to like getting told no, or getting like
the fear of rejection.
There's no
like
fear.
It doesn't exist for you guys. So it's like, you know, so what if my offer didn't get accepted? Okay, on to the next. You know, you guys, you're like, it's rinse and repeat, and you're just like, you're so resilient. Whereas a lot of other agents would be crushed. You're just like, okay, on to the next. We'll just get the next deal.
So it's like a built-in like training that I have that I didn't even realize would lend itself to real estate, but it really has helped. It's also like you can just kind of talk to anyone because you're used to it.
One of my most favorite things about our show is hearing the journey. You know, what led you to where you're at right now, and it's like a common denominator. Everything that was happening, if you were to reflect back, was preparing you for this role. And you know, and being an actress, I think, is so fitting. Actor, I think now we have to say actor. Sorry.
You can say anything you want.
For the old
more
school.
PC.
I don't.
You're an actor.
Whatever you want to do.
But you know, I think it's so fitting because your ability to change, your ability to adapt to a character, right? And there's so many moving parts, so many different stories, so many different people that you encounter, and to have like that resilience, that chameleon aspect of you is really nice. So it all ties together, which is great, Miss Morgan.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Morgan, tell us a little bit about how you balance representing buyers versus representing sellers, and if there's one that you like more than the other.
Oh, it's hard. I mean, I think the gut reaction is I like to represent buyers more. It's nothing against sellers. I think sellers are wonderful.
You're like, I'll take that.
I love sellers. Like, if you need to list your property, I'm a girl that's here and can do it. But I find that unless your seller is really like open to feedback, it can be really hard to navigate especially in a market like right now. I mean, we're noticing like the sales market is having a really hard time like moving. You know, a lot of the properties are down. Our areas are down like 5%, and like if your seller won't drop the price, it's like it's one of those things where I think if you're representing a seller in this market, it's important to let the market come to you. And if the seller is not willing to do that, it gets to be hard because the properties sit there and then they think it's you.
Right.
Even though you're really trying.
Exactly.
Whereas with a buyer, it's like if the property, they have their pick of properties. And, if there's no timeline, which can be a positive or a negative, at least you can see as much as you want. And it doesn't get stale.
Right.
So that's kind of why I like working with buyers. I also find that your relationship with the buyers is more personal in the sense where you're really with them like more and you see them and you're not just like opening. You have more interaction with them and you get to know them. You get to know like what their likes and dislikes are. You go out with them for wine or you after lunch during a showing and it's like you just really know them. And I think that's one of the things I like about the business is really knowing my clients because like it's so personal and it's so you want them to be happy
and you become their advisor.
Exactly.
Like, they're relying on you.
And I love like being a part of someone's like journey
into getting into a home.
Right. Into getting into a home.
Especially first time home buyers.
Right.
Like it just gives you
they are so excited
reward.
too. They're just like
it's so sweet, right? It's so endearing when you get to the closing table. And one thing that you just said, buyers, she offers wine and lunch.
Wine and lunch on me.
She's my buyer's agent. Down for wine and lunch.
No, but you make it fun and you make it like the process isn't just like business, let's go shop for a home. It's really like, okay, I think so much of what an agent really needs to do is listen to their clients and, and determine, okay, well, look, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you want. So I'm going to advise you accordingly because I think I found a really amazing property that I think would fit your needs, so well. And they just lean on you. And then when you get to the closing table and they're just so excited and, I've had clients cry at the closing table. It's such an emotional experience, especially for women who maybe never thought that they would become like a homeowner at a young age and, just independent. I think it's such an amazing gift that you offer.
Well, nowadays there's more, it's up the female owners that have come about and talking about the closing experience with my company, my title insurance company, New World Connect Title. We're all about that. We bring out the cake to the closing, and we just make sure everybody's happy all around. Just seeing their smiling faces when they finally get to the closing table and it comes to an end, there's nothing more rewarding than that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick commercial break, everyone. We will be right back with Morgan and part 2 of the show. Stay tuned.
Hi, everybody. Ari Brody, the mortgage man here from Cross Country Mortgage. So my pet peeve in the mortgage industry is it's the largest purchase of everybody's lives, and it's frequently the most stressful. So my sole objective and my sole job is to provide a super high level of service. Me and my team go out of our way to sit there and make sure this process is as easy and as smooth as we can possibly make it to take away as much of the stress as we possibly can. My job, my goal is to create raving fans. And my sole objective is to sit there and provide you with such a high level of service. You're going to walk away saying, wow, Ari and his team were freaking awesome. And therefore, you're going to refer me, everybody you know, because my business is 100% referral based. We have a lot of programs. We have a lot of products. We have a lot of different ways that we can sit there and take care of you. If you have questions, concerns, anything you'd like to know, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to be a resource and help out any way I can. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Take care.
Welcome back to Dominate Real Estate Podcast. We have Morgan Higgins with us. Thank you so much, Morgan, for sharing all of your nuggets and great stories.
Thank you.
We want to hear a little bit more about the lessons that you learned coming from an investment type of real estate family.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So, where do I begin?
Yeah.
The first thing I really remember was we would always drive around in the car on Saturdays and Sundays and like look at open houses, and that was like the first thing where I was like, I don't want to do real estate. This is like my nightmare. And like I want to be at the beach with my friends.
Right.
But you learn because you see your parents go through these houses and say, what about this? What about this? Can you move this wall? Can you add a bathroom here? Can you do this and this? And and I mean those were obviously more like single family homes, but something I've really learned is like multifamily is just so obviously lucrative. I'm saying obvious things here, but it's just once you like really get that and you understand like how like important that can be in terms of income generation, it totally like opens your mind up to the possibilities with real estate. That's kind of what my family like specializes in, is like multifamily. So that's like really the biggest thing I've learned from them is like, you know, great investment property, you got to have a slush fund. Like everything's going to break. Everything. And you're going to have to redo the bathrooms like 18 times. I mean, I myself have tiled a bathroom shower. I did that over COVID with my brother in one of our properties, and I was like, this is interesting, but now I can say I've done it. Yeah, you got to have a slush fund is like the biggest thing I've learned about investing in multifamily or any property really, but just because you never know, and the tenants, you know. There's just like you just have to really be on top of it, because when you're managing that many people, it can be crazy. But it's a great investment because it generates income on its own, and you don't have to worry about it. So those are like the things I've learned, I guess, in terms of real estate from my parents. And I said this earlier, but buy in the path of growth. That's something my mom has always said. She is very, very, even in areas where like nobody's buying, she'll be like, we're buying there. Because like, you know, I don't know, Walmart has a headquarters there, so therefore like people are going to buy there.
So
I would never think that. I would never think that, but she is.
But that was ingrained in you, and that's why you always have those eyes to see what's the next up and coming neighborhood. I owe it to her. I really do. You said earlier, you know, you're like, oh, this restaurant's over here, so this, you know, this market's gonna grow, and that's something that is a gift. To have.
It is.
To have that ability of foresight. You know, sometimes people just see right now, right here in this like fishbowl, but you're thinking ahead. And I really think that's what you need to be successful also in this business. So I like that, Morgan.
Thank you.
Your advanced prototype.
Thank you. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. And so what would you say is your most memorable closing?
Okay, so this was like earlier on, but there was a girl who it was her first home, and she was renting obviously in the city at the time, and she was about to turn 30, and she was like, I like really want to close like before my 30th birthday. It's like my 30th birthday gift to me. And I just, you know, we saw a lot. We ended up buying something in the Heights, and it was a cute like 2-bedroom. She could go up to Fort George and like walk Fort Washington, and walk that
the bridge.
And it was just a really cute property, and she was just like so excited because I think initially we were looking for a 1-bedroom, and we ended up finding a junior 4. And so like it was just like the perfect place, and she was so just like happy, and it really sticks out to me because like we were saying earlier, first time home buyer, woman, 30, and those are the people that like really like need like help, and that's
absolutely.
Like that's why it is important to
and trust too,
I think, especially when it's your first time buying.
Exactly.
And relying on you to guide them accordingly through the process. And look at you trekking to the Heights.
I know. By the way, great, like beautiful area. If you guys have been up there, like it really is. It's under, right by again Fort Washington. I think I'm trying to remember. Overlook Terrace was where.
Overlook Terrace.
Yeah. So I mean, it's actually great because the A train is right there at 181st. And I don't go up there that often, but like it. Again, you don't know until you go.
Exactly.
Same thing happened with the Ridgewood property. I was like, this is a cute area. There's so many great restaurants out here.
And it's also
I'm a foodie.
and community, you know, just like having the community and like the neighborhood feel. Like you're not, you know, you're not going to get that in like LES, you know, but you'll get it up in Cabrini. You know? So that's really cool. So tell us what you love most about your job.
I love networking and meeting new people. I think that's like the big thing. I also love, I think this is, we've touched on this a lot, but just like the neighborhoods, like getting to really like feel the neighborhoods and how each neighborhood is really different, and finding, I think when people look for a place to buy, they're looking obviously for the apartment, but they also want to know like a lot about the area in terms of like what is there to do, where can I go out, like where are the closest trains. So I think just like walking the area and like learning and being a sponge every day is like important and what I love. And getting out and about, you know. I also love seeing the crazy properties, and I mean I really love real estate, so I love seeing the crazy properties, you know. the ones that you walk into and you're like, wow, this is insane. I can't believe I'm standing in here.
I love it.
I was at the Steinway building and like I was on one of the upper floors, and it's just that view, like looking over Central Park.
It's literally a diamond in the sky.
No, it is actually insane. Like you can't believe that a property like has that view, like a real place that someone can live, not like a movie set.
Right.
And so seeing those, having those wow moments too is also so special. And you know,
yeah, for multi-million dollars, you too can have a house in the sky. Yes,
only for $23 million.
Yeah,
so,
only for $23
million. I'm in.
4 zeros at the end, and you're good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it sounds like you are also breaking into luxury real estate.
Yes.
And you are scoping out, you know, a lot of these high-end properties for the luxe clientele.
Right.
What would be your best advice for agents looking to break into luxury real estate?
I would say find a mentor or join a team.
Good.
Because I think that like I am very lucky that I am working with a few people right now who have kind of taken me under their wing and have given me opportunity to meet clients and like other agents who work in that space.
Right.
And I think that's like so important because this is like a connections business and a relationships business. And so like getting into that, you just like, you know, again, use like work with people around you. This is not supposed to be like a solo career. It is supposed to be you know, place where you utilize your friends.
Yeah, and support system.
And so for and I would also say like go to the brokers opens, like go preview, like meet people, because like you will see things that like normal people like don't get to see, and just by like being there, that already gives you like a leg up.
For sure. Okay, awesome. No, it's so true. You got to rub shoulders with the right people, and you know, be in the circles, in the rooms that will command more business and more luxury clientele.
And the more you step in those rooms, with time, then almost like the city becomes smaller and smaller. Then everybody knows you, and you're connected, and you never know when you're going to be on the other side of the deal. So that's why you should be really immersed in your industry, and you're doing it. And from a girl that said would never do real estate, look at her now.
I know, it's crazy. I still think it's crazy, but it's, you know, it's good. It's good. We've given in.
Yes, you've given in.
I love it.
What about lead generation? You know, so many new agents, you know, are like, you know, some agents, you know, really struggle to find, you know, that next true lead. So how do you handle lead generation? So when I started, I was doing this thing called Rent Hop, if you guys know what that is. It's like you post open listings basically. Oh, got it. And like it generates leads for you. Okay. And so that's kind of how I started doing rentals to begin with. Okay. And you know, some of those clients like have like referred me, some of them have come back, like yada yada yada. And I think like starting, like there's nothing wrong with starting at like, you know, the rental level. I think right now, I don't know, studios are going for way more than they should be going for, but like, you know, the studio base, bare bones studio level, because that client at some point will have a friend who's going to buy, or they might buy, or they next year will, you know, they might have a boyfriend and they might be looking for a girlfriend and they might be looking for a 2-bed. Like you don't know. And so that's kind of how I started getting leads to begin with. Okay. And then, you know, because at first I was a solo agent. Then I keep everybody's contact. Everybody's contact. It's in a, you know, Excel spreadsheet. I'm trying to figure out a CRM that works, but Follow Up Boss. I know. I actually just told my teammates today. I said we need to get on Follow Up Boss. It's driving me. The Excel spreadsheet's driving me crazy. Absolutely. So you know, keep everyone, and then do a newsletter. Do a newsletter. And I think stay relevant with these clients.
Stay relevant. And I think also for me, like I am on a team, so I'm a little like more, I get leads from the team or like from listings we have where there are leads that come in that don't end up getting the apartment. Those are all leads. So I think what people forget is like just because like they didn't rent with you or they didn't buy with you, like they could still be a lead. Correct. And it's just about like saving that. I also am a very social person, so I'm always out networking. You know, I post a lot on my social media, real estate stuff, and so like that, you know, I just had someone yesterday like call me and they were like, hey, like I know we talked about buying like a couple months ago, but like I'm actually serious now, like let's talk about it. Let's go to like lunch next week. So like it's just kind of being on the forefront of everybody's mind, and also keeping up with people. And not always like going for, I'm gonna sell you a property,
right,
or I'm gonna rent you a house. Especially like I have this like thing where there's a lot of friends of mine that are looking for like a $2,000 a month studio or a $2,400 a month studio, which is like so fine. But like I'm under the belief of like it's probably better for you to actually look on your own, and I can be a sounding board and I can help you.
Exactly.
But like, do you know what I mean? So like I think being a resource can also be really beneficial to people, because like sometimes that's just like
at no charge
for their situation. Like I think
timing is everything.
And timing is
that's
everything.
why you're saving everybody's contact, because you might have a renter that the renter is going to turn into a buyer in the future. So you have their contact. And, you know, so
it's about the relationship
and paying it forward. You know, and saying, look, I'm not here just to make a sale off of you. Like, I'm here to help you and guide you. You know, but you're better off like going to, you know, I can point you in the right direction. But you know, you're better off on your own.
I like it, Miss Morgan.
Well, thank you, Morgan.
Thank
we really enjoyed having you on the show today.
Me too.
And for our audience that wants to connect with you afterwards, what's the best way to connect with you?
You can follow me on Instagram at Morgan with 2 N's, because one was taken, Higgins with 2 S's. So that's MorganHiggins. That is my Instagram handle. I also have a TikTok. It's called It's Morgan Higgins. No double N's or S's. And I do have another profile, but I will be consolidating them very soon. The other one's called Morgan's Manhattan, if you want to follow both. Spelled exactly the way it sounds.
I will follow all of them.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
We loved having you, Morgan.
It was great.
You so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Loved hearing your story.
Yes. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
You have been tuning into Dominate Real Estate Podcast, the $1 Million Blueprint, live from the Hard Rock Hotel in New York City, with your hosts, Taliya Bashani and Carina Tom. For more information, please visit our Dominate Real Estate page on Instagram. You can also watch the show across all media outlets, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, and more. Stay tuned for next week's episode. Thank you for your positive feedback, comments, and questions, and please share this show with your network.